In a world consumed by stress, uncertainty, and emotional turmoil, how do we find unshakable inner peace? The answer lies in the wisdom of the Stoics. Welcome to the Stoic Mind, ancient wisdom for modern mental health, a practical guide to mastering your thoughts, building resilience, and achieving clarity in an unpredictable world. For centuries, Stoicism has been the foundation of strength for warriors, philosophers, and leaders. Today, it remains just as powerful, offering clear strategies to overcome anxiety, reframe challenges, and cultivate a mindset of tranquility and control. This audiobook is more than just philosophy. It is a roadmap for mental mastery. Drawing from the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, the Stoic Mind bridges ancient teachings with modern psychological insights, providing actionable exercises to strengthen your mind and emotions. Produced by Stoic Vibes, this audiobook is part of our mission to bring timeless wisdom into the modern era, helping listeners like you live with greater clarity, discipline, and peace. Now take a deep breath, clear your mind, and step into the world of Stoicism. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why Stoicism Matters for Mental Health. Introduction. In an era where anxiety, stress, and emotional turbulence have become a part of daily life, many seek a philosophy that offers resilience, inner peace, and clarity. While modern psychology provides solutions, an ancient school of thought, Stoicism, has long offered practical wisdom for mental strength and stability. Rooted in the teachings of philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, Stoicism is not just about enduring hardship. It is about mastering our emotions, focusing on what we can control, and fostering a mindset that shields us from unnecessary suffering. This chapter explores why Stoicism is profoundly relevant to mental health, how it provides tools to cope with life's challenges, and why its principles are as powerful today as they were centuries ago. The modern mental health crisis. Why we need Stoicism. More than ever, mental health struggles are at an all-time high. Depression, anxiety disorders, and chronic stress have become some of the most common psychological issues worldwide. Despite advances in medicine and therapy, many still struggle to find lasting inner peace. The reason? Most modern solutions address symptoms rather than changing the mental framework through which we experience life. Stoicism is different. It does not offer temporary relief. Instead, it reprograms the mind to respond rationally rather than emotionally to life's difficulties. Unlike many self-help approaches that focus on external circumstances, Stoicism emphasizes that true peace comes from within. By shifting our focus from external events to our internal perception and control, we reclaim power over our emotions and mental well-being. What is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy of practical wisdom. It teaches that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can always control how we react. This idea is captured in one of the most famous Stoic principles. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius' Stoicism is built upon 4 key virtues. 1. Wisdom, the ability to discern what is within our control and what is not. 2. Courage, the strength to face adversity without fear. 3. Justice, treating others fairly and ethically, regardless of circumstances. 4. Temperance, practicing self-discipline and emotional control. These virtues form the foundation of a mentally resilient and balanced life. Unlike other philosophical approaches that remain theoretical, Stoicism is action-oriented, providing practical exercises to cultivate mental toughness and peace. How Stoicism directly benefits mental health. 1. Reducing anxiety. Through the dichotomy of control, major cause of anxiety is the obsession with things beyond our control. Stoicism introduces the dichotomy of control, a concept that distinguishes between what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses. What we cannot control, external events, opinions of others, past mistakes. By focusing on what is within our power, we eliminate unnecessary worry and reduce anxiety. Instead of fearing what might happen, we learn to accept whatever comes while preparing rational responses to challenges. 2. Managing emotional reactions. Many people struggle with anger, frustration, and emotional instability. Stoicism teaches that emotions stem from our interpretation of events, not the events themselves. For example, if someone insults you, the insult itself has no power over you. It is your reaction, whether you take offense or dismiss it, that determines your emotional state. By reframing thoughts, Stoicism helps prevent destructive emotional reactions and encourages calm, measured responses to adversity. 3. Developing resilience. Through voluntary discomfort. A unique Stoic practice is voluntary discomfort, where individuals intentionally expose themselves to mild hardships, such as cold showers, fasting, or limiting luxuries. The purpose is to train the mind to become less dependent on comfort and more adaptable to difficult circumstances. This practice strengthens resilience, making it easier to endure life's unpredictable difficulties. In modern psychology, this aligns with exposure therapy, a technique used to reduce anxiety by gradually facing fears. 4. Overcoming depression with perspective. Shifting. One of the reasons people feel depressed is the tendency to dwell on negative thoughts. Stoicism counteracts this by introducing perspective-shifting techniques like negative visualization and premeditatio malorum, imagining worst-case scenarios to mentally prepare for them. By reframing problems and viewing difficulties as opportunities for growth, Stoicism helps prevent excessive rumination and hopelessness. Real-world examples of Stoicism in mental health. Many historical and modern figures have used Stoicism to overcome hardships and maintain mental resilience. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, applied Stoic-like thinking to survive extreme suffering, later developing logotherapy, a psychological approach that focuses on finding meaning in adversity. James Stockdale, a U.S. Navy officer held captive during the Vietnam War, credited Stoicism with helping him endure years of torture without breaking mentally. Tim Ferriss, best-selling author and entrepreneur, frequently practices Stoic mental exercises to manage anxiety and decision-making. These examples illustrate how Stoicism isn't just an ancient theory, it is a timeless mental health tool. Conclusion: a mental framework for a stronger life. In a world that constantly pushes us towards stress and emotional instability, Stoicism offers a proven philosophy for inner peace, resilience, and mental strength. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, let go of unnecessary worries, and build emotional resilience through rational thinking and discipline. As we move forward in this book, we will explore practical Stoic techniques that can be applied to daily life, providing a roadmap for overcoming anxiety, emotional struggles, and mental challenges. By embracing the Stoic mindset, we take the first step toward lasting mental well-being. Chapter 2. The Core Principles of Stoicism. Introduction. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a set of fundamental principles that shape the way individuals perceive, react to, and navigate life. These principles are not abstract ideas meant for contemplation alone. They serve as practical guidelines that allow one to cultivate resilience, mental clarity, and emotional stability. In this chapter, we will explore the 4 key Stoic principles: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, understanding how each of them contributes to a stable and peaceful mind. By mastering these principles, individuals can approach life with a level of self-discipline and control that fosters true mental well-being. The 4 pillars of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that a well-lived life is guided by 4 essential virtues. 1. Wisdom, the ability to understand what is within our control and what is not. 2. Courage, the strength to face adversity and uncertainty with resolve. 3. Justice, acting with fairness, honesty, and integrity toward others. 4. Temperance, exercising self-restraint and moderation in all aspects of life. Each of these virtues plays a crucial role in developing a Stoic mindset. allowing individuals to navigate hardships without being overwhelmed by emotions. Wisdom, the foundation of rational thinking. Wisdom in the Stoic tradition is the ability to discern between what can be controlled and what cannot. Epictetus famously stated, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." By developing wisdom, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering caused by worrying about external events. This virtue teaches us to focus our energy on our thoughts, actions, and responses, rather than becoming consumed by things beyond our influence. Practical application. Practice journaling to reflect on what is within your control each day. Before reacting emotionally, pause and ask, "Is this situation within my power to change?" Study Stoic texts to deepen your understanding of logical and rational thinking. Courage. Facing life's challenges with strength. Courage is the ability to endure hardships without being paralyzed by fear. The Stoics believed that suffering and adversity are inevitable, but how one responds to them is a matter of choice. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The cultivation of courage helps individuals handle uncertainty, loss, and fear with grace. It allows one to persist in the face of challenges rather than being consumed by them. Practical application. Face discomfort intentionally by stepping outside your comfort zone. Reframe failures as lessons rather than setbacks. Develop resilience by adopting the Stoic perspective on adversity, seeing difficulties as opportunities for growth. Justice. Living with integrity and fairness. For the Stoics, justice was not merely about law and order. It was about acting with fairness, honesty, and virtue in everyday life. A just person is one who upholds moral responsibility, treats others with respect, and prioritizes ethical behavior. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this when he wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculation about others, unless it be for some mutual benefit." Justice in the Stoic sense is deeply tied to our duty toward others. It encourages individuals to cultivate kindness, fairness, and a sense of shared humanity. Practical application. Make ethical decisions, even when no one is watching. Treat others with respect, recognizing that we all struggle in different ways. Reflect on how your actions affect others and aim to contribute positively to society. Temperance. The art of self-discipline. Temperance refers to self-control and moderation in all aspects of life. The Stoics believe that overindulgence, whether in food, emotions, or desires, leads to imbalance and suffering. By practicing temperance, one cultivates the ability to resist impulses and make rational decisions rather than acting on fleeting emotions. Practical application. Limit distractions and focus on what truly matters. Practice mindful consumption, whether it be food, media, or possessions. Develop patience by delaying gratification and making thoughtful choices. Conclusion. Cultivating the Stoic mindset by internalizing the four core principles of Stoicism, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, individuals can cultivate a mindset that is resilient, rational, and at peace. These virtues provide a framework for decision-making and emotional balance, allowing one to navigate the challenges of life without being overwhelmed by circumstances. As we progress through this book, we will explore how these principles can be practically applied to mental health, guiding us toward a life of greater stability, clarity, and emotional strength. By embracing the core tenets of Stoicism, we take the next step toward mastering our thoughts, emotions, and actions in pursuit of lasting mental well-being. Chapter 3. How the Mind Works. A Stoic Perspective on Thoughts and Emotions. Introduction. The human mind is a complex and dynamic system, shaping our experiences and reactions to the world. In Stoic philosophy, the mind is central to our well-being, as it dictates how we interpret and respond to life's challenges. The Stoics recognize that thoughts and emotions are not inherently negative. It is our perception and attachment to them that cause suffering. This chapter will explore the Stoic understanding of the mind, the role of perception in emotional regulation, and practical techniques to cultivate a resilient mindset. The Stoic view of the mind. The Stoics believed that the mind is divided into two essential faculties. 1. Reason, logos, the rational part of the mind that analyzes, interprets, and makes decisions. 2. Emotion, pathos, the reactive part of the mind that responds to stimuli, often irrationally. According to Stoicism, true mental strength arises when reason governs emotion rather than the other way around. By training the mind to remain calm, logical, and disciplined, one can navigate life with greater clarity and peace. Perception, the root of emotional suffering. The Stoics taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. This concept is well illustrated by Epictetus, who stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This means that suffering does not come from external circumstances, but from our judgments and reactions. Two individuals can experience the same event. One may react with anger while the other remains unfazed. The difference lies in perception. Practical application. Practice cognitive reframing by questioning whether your interpretation of an event is rational or emotional. Before reacting, pause and ask, is my response based on facts or assumptions? Develop detachment by reminding yourself that external events are neutral. It is your mind that assigns meaning. Managing emotional responses. Through rational thought, Stoicism does not advocate for the suppression of emotions, but rather the examination and regulation of them. Emotions arise naturally, but we have the power to choose our response. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this principle. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. By observing emotions without immediate reaction, we can prevent them from controlling our actions and thoughts. Practical application. Use journaling to reflect on emotional triggers and identify patterns. Employ Stoic premeditation by imagining how a situation could unfold, preparing a rational response in advance. Avoid instant emotional reactions by counting to 10 or taking a deep breath before responding. The role of negative visualization in mental resilience. One of the most powerful Stoic practices for mental resilience is negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. This technique involves imagining worst-case scenarios to mentally prepare for adversity. Rather than increasing anxiety, this practice reduces fear by showing that challenges are often less devastating than we assume. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." By confronting fears in advance, we become less reactive and more composed when difficulties arise. Practical application. Regularly visualize challenges and consider how you would respond rationally. Develop acceptance by reminding yourself that setbacks are a natural part of life. Strengthen mental discipline by exposing yourself to small, controlled hardships, cold showers, fasting, etc., letting go of unnecessary worry and fear. The Stoics encouraged a mindset of detachment from things beyond our control. Much of human suffering arises from worrying about external events, opinions, or outcomes. However, once we accept that some things are out of our hands, we can redirect energy towards self-improvement and inner peace. Epictetus wisely stated, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Practical application. Identify 3 things each day that are within your control and focus on them. Reframe disappointments by seeing them as opportunities for growth. Recognize that worrying about the future does not change it. Action does. Conclusion. Training the Stoic mind. Understanding the workings of the mind is the first step toward mental mastery. By cultivating rational perception, emotional regulation, and mental resilience, one can navigate life with greater confidence and stability. As we move forward, we will explore how Stoic practices can be applied to daily challenges, from handling stress to overcoming anxiety. The key to Stoic mental health lies in mastering our thoughts rather than being ruled by them. By embracing these principles, we take another step toward building an unshakable mind, one that remains calm, disciplined, and free from unnecessary suffering. Chapter 4. Mastering the Art of Emotional Control Introduction. One of the greatest challenges in life is learning how to manage emotions effectively. In Stoic philosophy, emotional control is not about suppression or denial, but about understanding, regulating, and directing emotions toward constructive purposes. The ability to remain calm under pressure, respond rather than react, and maintain emotional balance is fundamental to mental well-being. This chapter explores Stoic strategies for emotional mastery, emphasizing how one can cultivate inner tranquility, resilience, and self-discipline in the face of life's adversities. Understanding emotions, the Stoic perspective. The Stoics believed that emotions are natural and arise as a result of our perceptions. However, how we interpret events dictates the emotional response. Marcus Aurelius stated, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." From this perspective, emotions do not control us. We control them through rational thought and perception. Practical application. Practice self-inquiry. When experiencing a strong emotion, ask, "Is my reaction based on facts or assumptions?" Identify common emotional triggers and develop strategies to reframe them. Observe your emotions without judgment and allow them to pass naturally. The role of reason in emotional mastery. The Stoics emphasized the supremacy of reason in regulating emotions. By cultivating rational thinking, one can distinguish between constructive emotions and destructive reactions. Key Stoic practices for rational thinking. 1. Pause before reacting. When emotions arise, take a moment before responding. This prevents impulsive and irrational decisions. 2. Use cognitive distancing. Observe your emotions as if they belong to someone else. This helps create an objective perspective. 3. Engage in premeditatio malorum. Mentally rehearse possible setbacks so that emotional shock is minimized when challenges occur. 4. Journaling for reflection. Writing about emotions fosters clarity and helps uncover patterns in emotional reactions. By strengthening the mind's capacity for reason over impulse, emotional control becomes second nature. Overcoming anger. Through Stoicism, anger is one of the most destructive emotions if left unchecked. The Stoics viewed anger as a temporary madness that clouds judgment and leads to regretful actions. Seneca in On Anger warns, "The best remedy for anger is delay. Do not rush into action. The greatest remedy against anger is time." Practical application. Delay your response. When anger arises, pause before reacting. Take deep breaths and revisit the issue when calm. Reframe the situation. Instead of seeing a perceived offense as a personal attack, view it as a reflection of the other person's struggles. Focus on solutions. Channel energy into resolving rather than fueling conflict. Cultivating inner peace. Through detachment. The Stoics taught that attachment to external things leads to emotional turmoil. Whether it is wealth, reputation, or outcomes, the more one depends on external validation, the more vulnerable one becomes to emotional distress. Epictetus stated, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Practical application. Identify attachments that cause emotional instability and practice letting go. Remind yourself daily of the impermanence of all things. Shift focus from external outcomes to internal growth and resilience. Embracing discomfort to strengthen emotional resilience. The practice of voluntary discomfort is a core Stoic method for developing resilience. By exposing oneself to small, controlled adversities, one builds emotional toughness and adaptability. Examples of voluntary discomfort: fasting for a day to experience self-discipline and control over cravings. taking cold showers to train the mind to remain composed under discomfort, spending time without modern conveniences to appreciate simplicity and adaptability. By gradually conditioning oneself to handle difficulties with grace, larger adversities become easier to manage. Conclusion: becoming the master of your emotions. Emotional mastery is not about erasing emotions, but about developing the ability to regulate them effectively. By embracing Stoic practices such as cognitive distancing, journaling, detachment, and voluntary discomfort, one can cultivate a state of inner peace, self-discipline, and mental clarity. As we continue this journey, the next chapter will explore how Stoicism helps in handling stress and uncertainty, further strengthening the foundation of mental resilience and well-being. By applying these techniques, one steps closer to becoming an unshakable force in the face of life's unpredictability. Chapter 5: Overcoming Stress and Uncertainty with Stoicism Introduction. Stress and uncertainty are inevitable parts of life. The human mind naturally seeks stability and control, yet the external world remains unpredictable. This tension between expectation and reality often leads to anxiety, frustration, and emotional distress. Stoicism offers time-tested strategies for handling stress and navigating uncertainty. By applying Stoic principles, one can develop resilience, focus on what is within their control, and maintain inner peace in the face of adversity. This chapter explores Stoic techniques for managing stress, embracing uncertainty, and cultivating a mindset of adaptability and strength. Understanding the root of stress and anxiety. Stress arises when there is a discrepancy between expectations and reality. When life does not unfold as planned, emotions such as fear, frustration, and anxiety emerge. The Stoics believe that external circumstances do not cause stress. Instead, it is our perception and response to them that determine our mental state. Epictetus stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them." Practical application. Identify what is within your control and let go of what is not. Challenge negative thoughts by questioning their validity. Shift focus from external outcomes to internal adaptability. The dichotomy of control. The key to reducing stress. One of the most powerful Stoic tools for overcoming stress is the dichotomy of control. This principle divides life into two categories. 1. What we can control: our thoughts, choices, and actions. 2. What we cannot control: external events, other people's opinions, and outcomes. By focusing only on what is within our control, we conserve energy and free ourselves from unnecessary worry. Instead of resisting uncertainty, we learn to navigate it with a sense of acceptance and clarity. Practical application. Each morning, list 3 things you can control that day and focus on them. When faced with a challenge, ask, "Is this within my control?" If not, let it go. Replace complaints with constructive action on things you can influence. Practicing present moment awareness. Stress often arises from ruminating on the past or fearing the future. The Stoics advocated for living in the present moment, finding clarity in the here and now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." By training the mind to focus on the task at hand, one reduces anxiety and gains mental clarity. Practical application. Practice mindful breathing to anchor yourself in the present. Engage fully in activities rather than multitasking. Accept the uncertainty of the future and focus on what can be done now. Reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. The Stoics saw adversity not as an obstacle, but as a teacher. Seneca stated, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Instead of resisting hardship, the Stoic approach is to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Stress and setbacks become training grounds for resilience. Practical application. When facing stress, ask, "How can this situation make me stronger?" Reframe failures as learning experiences rather than defeats. Use obstacles as chances to cultivate patience and endurance, embracing voluntary discomfort to build mental resilience. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, intentionally exposing themselves to small hardships to build resilience. By getting comfortable with discomfort, they strengthened their ability to handle life's uncertainties. Examples of voluntary discomfort: taking cold showers to train the mind to endure discomfort, fasting occasionally to develop discipline and self-control, sleeping on the floor or wearing simple clothing to reduce attachment to luxury. By regularly engaging in controlled hardships, one lowers sensitivity to stress and unpredictability. Developing an internal locus of control, individuals who believe they have control over their lives tend to experience less stress and greater emotional stability. This is known as having an internal locus of control, the belief that one's actions shape their destiny rather than external circumstances. Practical application: instead of blaming external factors, focus on what you can do differently. Take responsibility for your actions rather than seeing yourself as a victim. Recognize that growth comes from deliberate effort, not luck. Conclusion: strength through uncertainty. Stress and uncertainty are inevitable, but how we respond to them is within our control. By applying Stoic principles such as the dichotomy of control, present moment awareness, voluntary discomfort, and reframing adversity, one can cultivate a calm, resilient, and adaptable mindset. As we move forward, the next chapter will explore how Stoicism enhances daily mental well-being, offering actionable steps to integrate Stoic wisdom into modern life. By embracing Stoic resilience, we turn stress into a source of strength rather than a burden. Chapter 6. Daily Stoic Practices for Mental Well-Being. Introduction. Stoicism is not just a theoretical philosophy, but a practical framework for living a balanced and resilient life. To fully integrate Stoicism into one's daily routine, one must commit to practicing its principles regularly. This chapter explores daily Stoic exercises that can help cultivate mental clarity, emotional balance, and a strong sense of purpose. By incorporating these practices into daily life, one can build greater resilience, enhance focus, and cultivate an unshakable inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Morning reflection: setting the right mindset. How one begins the day determines its trajectory. The Stoics believed in starting the day with purpose and clarity, by reflecting on their values and setting intentions. Practical application: spend a few minutes in the morning visualizing the challenges ahead and preparing your response. Ask yourself, what obstacles might I face today and how will I handle them with wisdom? Read a passage from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations or Seneca's letters to reinforce Stoic principles. By consciously setting a Stoic mindset in the morning, one creates a mental shield against negativity and stress. Journaling. Evening self-examination. Stoics advocated for self-examination at the end of each day. This process involves reflecting on one's actions, thoughts, and emotions to identify areas for improvement. Practical application: ask yourself, did I act according to reason and virtue today? Write about moments where you displayed patience, courage, or restraint, and where you could improve. Note any emotional triggers and analyze how a Stoic perspective could have altered your response. Journaling helps cultivate self-awareness and personal growth, reinforcing Stoic principles daily. Practicing voluntary discomfort. One of the fundamental Stoic exercises is voluntary discomfort, which involves intentionally experiencing mild hardships to build resilience and reduce dependence on external comforts. Examples: take cold showers to strengthen self-discipline and overcome physical discomfort. Eat a simple meal instead of indulging in excess to appreciate what you have. Spend a day without modern luxuries to detach from material dependency. By willingly embracing discomfort, one becomes mentally stronger and more adaptable to life's uncertainties. Negative visualization, preparing for life's challenges. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization, to prepare themselves mentally for hardships. By imagining possible setbacks, one reduces anxiety and develops readiness to handle adversity. Practical application. Reflect on possible challenges ahead, such as failure, criticism, or financial loss. Instead of fearing negative outcomes, embrace them as inevitable and manageable. Develop an action plan for how you would handle setbacks calmly and rationally. Negative visualization shifts fear into preparation, allowing one to navigate difficulties with greater composure. Focusing on what you can control. The dichotomy of control is a core Stoic principle that distinguishes between what is within our power and what is not. Practicing this awareness daily leads to greater peace and reduced frustration. Practical application. Identify 3 things each day that are within your control and focus your energy on them. When faced with stress or uncertainty, ask, is this within my control? If not, let it go. Shift attention from external outcomes to internal actions and mindset. By focusing only on controllable factors, one eliminates unnecessary worry and enhances mental resilience. Maintaining equanimity in daily life. Emotional balance is a defining trait of the Stoic mindset. The ability to remain calm, collected, and rational in the face of provocation is a practice that requires daily effort. Practical application. When someone provokes you, pause and remind yourself, their behavior is their own, not mine. Reframe. From reacting impulsively. Instead, respond with calm logic and detachment. Train yourself to see every event as neutral, shaped only by your interpretation. By cultivating equanimity, one learns to respond rather than react, fostering inner stability and peace. Conclusion. Making Stoicism a daily habit. The power of Stoicism lies in consistent application. By integrating morning reflections, journaling, voluntary discomfort, negative visualization, and emotional regulation into daily routines, one strengthens mental resilience, emotional stability, and inner peace. As we progress, the next chapter will delve into letting go of worry and regret, exploring how Stoicism teaches us to release the past and focus on the present. By committing to these daily practices, one moves closer to embodying the unshakable mindset of a true Stoic. Chapter 7. Letting Go of Worry and Regret. Introduction. Worry and regret are 2 of the most common sources of mental distress. Many individuals find themselves trapped in a cycle of rumination over past mistakes and anxiety about the future, leading to unnecessary suffering. Stoicism teaches that true peace of mind comes from focusing only on what is within our control and releasing attachment to things we cannot change. In this chapter, we explore Stoic techniques for overcoming worry and regret, allowing us to cultivate inner peace and emotional resilience. Understanding the futility of worry stems from a fear of uncertainty, an attempt to mentally control the unknown. However, no amount of worrying changes external events. It only adds to emotional suffering. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By accepting that the future is uncertain and largely outside our control, we free ourselves from the burden of worry and instead focus on preparedness, adaptability, and rational action. Practical application. Identify 3 worries and separate them into what you can and cannot control. When anxiety arises, ask yourself, is this something I can influence? If not, why waste energy on it? Shift focus from worst-case scenarios to practical problem solving. Releasing regret. Learning from the past. Not living in it. Regret is often a result of self-recrimination over past choices. While reflecting on past mistakes is useful for growth, dwelling on them endlessly leads to self-inflicted suffering. Seneca advises, what is past is beyond our control. Therefore, let us forget our fears of the past and turn to the future. The Stoic approach to regret is not to suppress it, but to reframe it as a lesson rather than a source of self-punishment. Practical application. Write down a past regret and extract a valuable lesson from it. Remind yourself, I did the best I could with the knowledge I had at the time. When regret surfaces, redirect your focus to present actions and future improvements. The Stoic view of time, living in the present. The past cannot be changed, and the future is unknowable. So why not live in the present moment? The Stoics believed that true contentment comes from fully engaging with the present, rather than being shackled by past regrets or future fears. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Practical application. Practice mindful presence by immersing yourself fully in current tasks. Limit time spent dwelling on past events and redirect attention to constructive actions. Develop a habit of gratitude for the present moment. Using negative visualization to overcome fear of the future. The Stoics used negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, to prepare themselves mentally for life's uncertainties. By imagining potential setbacks, one reduces fear and increases resilience. Seneca suggested, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." Practical application. Regularly envision possible challenges and mentally rehearse rational responses. Recognize that most fears are exaggerated and that you possess the strength to handle adversity. Use mental rehearsal to approach the future with confidence rather than anxiety. Accepting fate, amor fati, and letting go of what we cannot change. The Stoic concept of amor fati, love of fate, teaches us to embrace all events, good or bad, as necessary parts of life's unfolding story. Epictetus advises, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and you will be at peace." By accepting reality as it is, rather than resisting it, we release self-imposed suffering and cultivate serenity. Practical application. When facing difficulties, repeat, "This is outside my control, but I can control how I respond." Reframe hardships as opportunities for growth and resilience. Let go of attachment to specific outcomes and embrace life as it unfolds. Conclusion. Moving forward with lightness and clarity. Worry and regret are heavy burdens that keep us from fully living in the present. By practicing acceptance, mental discipline, and rational reflection, we free ourselves from the grip of the past and the anxiety of the future. As we continue our journey through Stoicism, the next chapter will explore how Stoic principles enhance our relationships and interactions with others, allowing us to build stronger connections with clarity, wisdom, and emotional balance. By letting go of worry and regret, we step into a life of greater freedom, lightness, and inner peace. Chapter 8. The Stoic Approach to Relationships and Social Pressure. Introduction. Human relationships are one of the most significant aspects of life, yet they are also one of the greatest sources of stress and emotional turmoil. Many individuals find themselves caught up in social expectations, misunderstandings, and the pursuit of approval from others. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for navigating relationships with clarity, resilience, and inner peace. This chapter explores how Stoic principles can help us build stronger, healthier relationships while maintaining emotional balance and resisting social pressure. Managing expectations in relationships. Many interpersonal conflicts arise from misaligned expectations. The Stoics taught that other people's actions are beyond our control, and expecting them to behave according to our desires leads to frustration. Epictetus advised, "When someone acts poorly, do not become upset, for it is their nature. You wouldn't be angry at a fig tree for producing figs." Practical application. Accept people as they are rather than expecting them to meet your idealized standards. When disappointed by someone's behavior, remind yourself, their actions are their own, not mine. Practice compassionate detachment, offering understanding without allowing others' actions to disturb your peace. Detaching from social approval, many people suffer anxiety due to seeking validation from others. However, Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes from self-mastery, not external recognition. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Practical application. Recognize that external opinions are fleeting and should not dictate your self-worth. Before making a decision, ask, Am I doing this because it aligns with my values or because I want approval? Develop self-confidence by focusing on internal virtues rather than external praise. Handling criticism with stoic composure. Criticism is an inevitable part of life, yet many people let it deeply affect their emotional state. The Stoics teach that criticism, when handled wisely, can be an opportunity for growth rather than a source of distress. Seneca advised, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Practical application. When criticized, assess whether there is truth in it and use it for self-improvement. If the criticism is unfounded, let it pass without emotional reaction, just as a rock remains unmoved by the wind. Develop the habit of responding to criticism with calm and rationality, rather than emotional defensiveness. Practicing emotional restraint in conflict. Interpersonal conflicts often escalate due to reactive emotions. The Stoics advocated for self-restraint and calm rationality when dealing with disputes. Marcus Aurelius emphasized, "You always have the option of having no opinion." Practical application. When confronted, pause before reacting emotionally. Ask, "Is this worth my peace?" Use logical reasoning rather than emotional impulses to resolve conflicts. Accept that you cannot change others, only how you respond to them. Cultivating meaningful relationships. Through virtue, the Stoics believed that true relationships are built on shared virtues rather than superficial connections. Friendships based on honesty, wisdom, and mutual respect are the most enduring. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Practical application. Seek relationships with individuals who inspire growth and wisdom. Avoid toxic relationships that drain energy and conflict with your values. Prioritize quality over quantity in friendships. Conclusion: strengthen social interactions. Applying Stoic principles to relationships, we can interact with others from a place of strength rather than insecurity. Whether facing criticism, handling conflict, or resisting social pressure, the Stoic approach fosters inner peace and emotional stability. As we move forward, the next chapter will explore how Stoicism helps in navigating major life transitions and embracing change with grace and resilience. By cultivating self-mastery, emotional balance, and virtue-based relationships, we free ourselves from the chains of external validation and social turmoil, building a life rooted in wisdom and peace. Chapter 9. Navigating Life Transitions with Stoic Resilience. Introduction: change is an inevitable part of life. Whether it be career shifts, personal losses, aging, or unexpected disruptions, life transitions often bring uncertainty and discomfort. Many people struggle with fear of the unknown, regret over past decisions, or difficulty adapting to new circumstances. Stoicism offers a practical and empowering framework for approaching life's transitions with resilience, adaptability, and inner peace. By understanding what is within our control, embracing impermanence, and cultivating a flexible mindset, we can navigate change with strength and wisdom. Accepting the nature of change. One of the fundamental Stoic teachings is that everything is in a constant state of flux. Clinging to what is familiar creates suffering when change inevitably occurs. Instead, Stoicism encourages an attitude of acceptance and adaptability. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that nature loves nothing so much as to change existing things and to make new ones like them." Practical application. When facing a transition, remind yourself that change is a natural part of life, and resisting it only increases suffering. Develop a habit of expecting and embracing change rather than fearing it. View transitions as opportunities for growth and transformation rather than losses. Focusing on what you can control. During life transitions, people often stress over aspects beyond their control. The Stoics teach that peace comes from directing energy toward what is within our control, while letting go of the rest. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." Practical application. When experiencing a major change, List the factors you can control, your response, mindset, and next steps, and release concern over what you cannot. Avoid excessive worrying by focusing on actionable solutions. Recognize that external circumstances do not determine happiness. Your perspective does. Reframing uncertainty as opportunity. Uncertainty can be unsettling, but it also holds the potential for growth. The Stoics encourage seeing the unknown not as a threat, but as an opportunity for wisdom and development. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Practical application. When facing uncertainty, ask, how can this situation make me stronger or wiser? Use the transition as a chance to reinvent yourself and cultivate new skills. View obstacles as a testing ground for resilience rather than as setbacks. Developing inner stability amidst external change. While the external world is unpredictable, inner stability is within reach. The Stoics teach that true security comes not from external circumstances, but from a well-trained mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Practical application. Practice daily mindfulness to cultivate a calm and centered mind, even in turbulent times. Remind yourself that your peace does not depend on circumstances, but on how you interpret them. Develop a sense of identity that is rooted in character and virtue, not in external roles or status. Embracing the concept of amor fati. The Stoics introduced the concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. Rather than merely accepting change, Stoicism encourages embracing all of life's events, even the difficult ones, as essential parts of the journey. Nietzsche expanded on this idea, stating, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." Practical application. Instead of wishing circumstances were different, say, "I will make the best of this moment as it is." Train yourself to appreciate difficulties as necessary parts of life's unfolding story. See every transition as a path toward greater wisdom and self-mastery. Conclusion. Thriving in the midst of change, life's transitions are not obstacles but opportunities to develop resilience, wisdom, and adaptability. By applying Stoic principles of acceptance, control, reframing, and inner stability, we cultivate the strength to face change with confidence and grace. In the next chapter, we will explore how Stoicism can help us cultivate gratitude and contentment, leading to a more fulfilled and balanced life. By embracing change as a natural and necessary part of existence, we free ourselves from fear and move forward with a spirit of courage and resilience. Chapter 10. Cultivating Gratitude and Contentment. Through Stoicism introduction, in a world that often encourages endless striving and dissatisfaction, cultivating gratitude and contentment can be a powerful antidote to stress and negativity. Stoics taught that true happiness does not come from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. By shifting our perspective and training our minds to focus on the present moment, we can develop a sense of peace and fulfillment that is unshaken by external circumstances. This chapter explores Stoic principles and practical exercises that foster gratitude and contentment, leading to a life of deeper satisfaction and resilience. The Stoic definition of true wealth, Seneca reminds us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." From a Stoic perspective, wealth is not measured by material possessions but by one's ability to be satisfied with what is sufficient. The more we desire, the more we allow external circumstances to control our emotions. True wealth is a state of mind, not a number in a bank account. Practical application. Reflect on what you already have that fulfills your basic needs. When feeling discontent, remind yourself, "I lack nothing essential in this moment." Shift focus from what is missing to what is present and valuable, practicing negative visualization to enhance gratitude. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises is negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, in which we contemplate losing what we take for granted. This technique enhances appreciation by reminding us that nothing is permanent. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you do not have, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." Practical application. Spend a few moments imagining life without something you deeply value, your health, loved ones, or even basic comforts. Let this exercise heighten your appreciation for what you have right now. Use gratitude journaling to document small blessings that you might otherwise overlook. The role of perspective in contentment happiness is not about external events, but how we interpret them. The Stoics emphasize that by controlling our perspective, we control our emotional state. Epictetus taught, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By training ourselves to desire less and find joy in simplicity, we achieve a profound sense of contentment. Practical application. Challenge yourself to reduce unnecessary desires by questioning whether acquiring something will genuinely enhance your well-being. Shift your mindset from expectation to appreciation. Take joy in small, everyday moments rather than constantly seeking the next big thing. Detaching from external validation. Much dissatisfaction arises from seeking approval and comparing ourselves to others. The Stoics teach that true contentment comes from aligning actions with inner values rather than external praise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculation about others, unless it be for some mutual benefit." Practical application. When tempted to compare yourself to others, remind yourself that each person follows their own unique path. Focus on internal progress rather than seeking external validation. Evaluate success based on your growth and virtue, not societal standards. Embracing simplicity and moderation. The Stoics believed that by embracing simplicity and moderation, we free ourselves from the trap of constant craving. Living with less often leads to a richer life. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Practical application. Regularly practice voluntary simplicity. Try living for a few days with only the essentials. Appreciate small pleasures, like a warm meal or time in nature. Recognize that excess does not equate to happiness. Rather, it often leads to attachment and anxiety. Conclusion. The path to lasting contentment. By cultivating gratitude and contentment, we free ourselves from the cycle of endless desire and embrace a life of inner peace and fulfillment. Practicing negative visualization, shifting our perspective, detaching from external validation, and embracing simplicity allows us to truly appreciate what we have. As we move forward, the next chapter will explore how Stoic principles help us face adversity with courage and dignity, ensuring that we remain unshaken no matter what life brings. By integrating these Stoic practices into daily life, we unlock a deep sense of happiness, peace, and true contentment, a form of wealth greater than any material possession. Final reflections. Embracing the Stoic path. As we conclude this journey through Stoic wisdom, remember that true strength comes not from avoiding hardship, but from embracing life with resilience, clarity, and gratitude. The principles of Stoicism are not just theories. They are practical tools for cultivating self-mastery, emotional balance, and a sense of lasting peace. Throughout this book, we have explored how to apply Stoic philosophy to mental health, relationships, uncertainty, and personal growth. But the real transformation begins when these ideas are put into practice. Stoicism is not a destination. It is a lifelong path of refinement, learning, and inner strength. Call to action. Applying Stoicism to daily life, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the lessons presented in this audiobook. Ask yourself, what Stoic principle resonated with me the most? How can I apply these teachings to my daily life? What small change can I make today to cultivate more resilience and wisdom? Revisiting key chapters, keeping a Stoic journal, and reflecting on daily challenges through the lens of Stoic philosophy can deepen your understanding and help you build a more resilient mindset. If you seek further exploration, consider reading the works of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, timeless sources of wisdom that continue to inspire generations. Thank you. Message. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Stoic Mind. Your dedication to self-improvement and wisdom is commendable. May you continue to cultivate courage, virtue, and tranquility in all aspects of your life. The path of Stoicism is not always easy, but it is one of great reward, offering clarity, purpose, and an unshakable mind in an unpredictable world. This audiobook was brought to you by Stoic Vibes. If you found value in these teachings, consider leaving a review and sharing your thoughts. Your feedback helps others discover the power of Stoic philosophy and its ability to transform lives. May you walk forward with wisdom, resilience, and peace. Thank you, and stay steadfast on the Stoic path.